Hi, today I'm talking about 5 ways to make your first $1,000 with digital products. And this is also good for beginners as well. And it's easier than you think. It just takes consistency and focus. My name is Adina. I'm a digital entrepreneur and software developer. Over the years, I've built several 6 and 7 figure digital businesses using a content-driven business model, specifically written content. That's my area of expertise. And I teach you how to build a profitable digital product business in 90 days and start making your first $10,000 months, but you need to be focused. Anyway, so let's get into this piece. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post up videos. And also, I'm currently doing a 500 post challenge, which is kind of crazy, I know. And this is part of the challenge. We're currently on day 24. So let's jump into this 5 ways to make your first $1,000 from digital products as a beginner. Let's go. Now, let's face it, your first $1,000 from digital products feels like the hardest to make. I know what that feels like. You second guess everything. You wonder if anyone will buy. You refresh your dashboard like it was, like it owes you rent. But that first 1,000 isn't just about money. It's about proof. It's about proof of concept that it actually works. For me, my first $10 was my proof of concept. It wasn't my first 1,000. It was my first $10. But I know a lot of people want to hit that magic $1,000 and then they move up to the next one, which is the 10,000, and then keep going from there. It's a proof that your ideas are valuable, that your skills translate online, and that you can create income out of thin air with nothing but Wi-Fi, courage, and a bit of strategy. So if you're starting from zero, here are 5 practical soul-aligned ways to hit your first $1,000 without a big audience, paid ads, or burnout. I'm not saying paid ads are bad, because I do use paid ads at times, and I have used paid ads. But if you're someone who is starting from scratch and you don't have the finances to go into paid ads, I actually use a hybrid method of marketing, paid ads and organic, and it works wonderfully. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with a mini digital product, not a masterpiece. So most beginners overcomplicate their first offer. They try to build a 50-page course when all you need is a 10-page e-guide that solves one clear problem. Think about your first digital product as a proof of concept. Okay, something light, fast, and focused. Maybe it's a Notion template for freelancers, a digital planner for women in business, or a checklist for content creators. People buy solutions, not perfection. Your first $1,000 can come from something that took you 1 weekend to create, but deeply helped someone else save time or stress. Here's a pro tip. Create a $20 to $30 product and sell 40 to 50 copies. It's much easier than you think when your idea solves a real problem. My first digital product that actually made my first $10,000 was a product called the Blog Accelerator. It's no longer available, but the Blog Accelerator was an e-guide that helped you to make your first $4,000 and continue making $4,000 months from your blog. And it's basically a mini acceleration program that you put yourself through, and it solves that problem of not making any money from your blog and struggling to even make your first dollar, let alone 4,000. But it teaches you how to get to that next level. And it was a bit of an interactive e-guide as well, because I created like a section where there was links to different resources that you could use to help you and support you along the way. And it was a real problem. People blog and they don't make money, and they want to make money, and they want to make money quickly. So to see the word blog accelerator, next to each other, it was actually really powerful, and people started to buy it instantly. As soon as I published it started to make sales. But the difference with me is that I did have a bit of an audience. It wasn't a massive audience at that time. It was a few thousand, couple of thousand on Medium, and that helped me to sell the product. And also my email list was taken off a little bit as well. But you still don't need millions of followers to make money. I'm telling you this from now. Number 2 is to validate before you create. Don't spend 3 weeks designing something that nobody asked for. This is a big issue. Validation doesn't have to be complicated, just conversation. So, you want to post something on social media about the problem you want to solve. For example, I'm thinking of creating a guide to help creators plan a month of content in 1 hour. Would you use something like that? If people comment or DM you or say, yes, please, you've got the green light that your early audience are telling you where the demand is. Most creators make money faster when they listen instead of guess. The reason why I decided to create the Blog Accelerator was because I created an article about this. It was this Blog Accelerator e-guide that I created was off the back of an article that I had already published, and I had a lot of comments in the article, and it was like people wanted more information. They wanted more step-by-step information. They wanted to learn in a more in-depth way. They didn't just want what was in the article. They wanted more. And so that's how I knew it was going to be helpful. And so I ended up putting the link in that very article after I had published it. Generally, I don't think it's a good idea to put all your eggs into one basket. Okay, so I want to talk about that now because I'm talking about using one platform and going deep. You know, you don't need to be everywhere, but I want to just note that it's not a good idea in the long term to just put all your eggs into one basket. I've seen a lot of people promoting this idea of putting all their eggs into Substack and forgetting every single platform. It's got this kind of lean content system, which I think is great, but at the same time, it's a bit of a risk. And so I would recommend being on at least 2 platforms, but you don't necessarily have to do that straight away. When you first start out, you can have your one platform, build your email list, and then branch out onto different platforms as well. You know, so like I said, pick one platform, TikTok, Medium, or Pinterest, and create consistent content around your niche and your product idea. Honestly, I found Medium to be the most powerful for me, but you can try any platform that you feel would work for you. Okay. When I first started, I posted on Medium daily for 30 days. 30 days straight. That consistency turned into leads, followers, and buyers because I wasn't just creating random content. I was building a narrative that aligned with what I was selling. So think like this. Every piece of content should do one of 3 things: build awareness, create trust, or drive sales. So not every single piece of content I put out there on Medium, for example, has some links for people to buy something. Some, they just direct people to my email list. Some don't direct them to anything but another article that I've written. And in the other article, there could be a link to a product or a link to an email list. So I'm not always linking to a product. But the goal is, like I said, to build awareness, and building awareness is the prelude to building trust. And then that's when the sales come in, when people actually begin to trust you and like you and know you, and then they start purchasing from you. Number 4 is to build a simple funnel. Don't fear the word funnel. It's not a fancy funnel. A funnel just means guiding someone from discovery to purchase. That's all it means. Your version might look like this: a social media post that grabs attention, a freebie like a checklist or a mini guide that builds your email list. What I like to actually do these days is I like to give out a low ticket offer as opposed to a freebie. I found that to be much more valuable, and I've had much more success with long-term customers that when people purchase a low-ticket product, whether it be a $5 product or something like that. And a follow-up email that introduces your paid product. So it introduces your higher-ticket product or your mid-ticket product. You don't need fancy tech or automation tools either. You just need a way to keep the conversation going after someone finds you. That's where most beginners lose sales. They post once, people get interested, and then the connection fades. So you want to build relationships, not just reach. That's really important, building relationships. And finally is to leverage your story. People buy from people, not perfect brands. Your story, the reason you created a digital product, is your marketing edge. So remember, this idea of, this particular niche is saturated, don't go into it, is actually false, because you are you're unique. So your story is different from someone else's. You might have a completely different story. And so people actually resonate with you and connect with you based on your story and based on who you are. And so you might have the same product that someone else has to sell, or similar products that someone else has to sell, but because people like you and resonate with your message, they're more likely to purchase from you. So if your product helped you organize your business, tell that story. If it came from a problem you couldn't find a solution for, share that too. Storytelling creates emotional connection, and emotional connection drives sales. This is really important. When your audience feels like you get them, your digital product stops being a product and it becomes a bridge between their problem and the solution that they've been looking for, which is really important. Here's the truth. The first $1,000 isn't about fancy systems or overnight success. It's about proving to yourself that it's possible. Once you do it once, you can do it again and again. You can rinse and repeat with bigger, better, more intentional offers. The hardest part is starting before you feel ready. And the most important part is believing you deserve to be paid for what you know. Once you cross that first threshold, you stop chasing money and you start creating momentum. If you're serious about making your first $1,000, focus on simplicity, value, and consistency. Your first sale might take time, but when it comes, it changes everything, because that's the moment you realize you're not just selling digital products, you're building digital freedom. So if you're ready to skip the guesswork and hit your first $1,000 fast, And if you want to make your first $1,000 from digital products without stressing over what to create and how to price it or how to launch it, join my Level Up 1000 program, which is a done for you digital product business setup. You'll get a complete ready to launch digital product, your sales page, funnel and strategy built for you, access to the same framework that's helped creators hit their first 1K fast. So all you have to do is plug in your brand and start selling. Join the Level Up 1000 today by clicking the link in the description. And I'll see you in there. I'm not going to be offering this for very long because I want it to be only a small group of people that are actually involved in this. So I'm going to be offering 8 spaces for the Level Up 1000 done for you offer. And I'm going to leave the link in the description for that. Take care.